Hi there, and welcome to this review of the One Way UK Daily Devotionals. Pardon my voice, it's probably because of the high pollen count. But we're talking about the 25th of June through to the 29th of June, and I couldn't resist it. I'm sorry, but if you remember on Wednesday, I shared about the fact that if you came into my garden, I'd probably point out to you 3 trees that I planted. Now the reason for this is because according to Psalm 104 verse 16, and let me just read it to you, it says, "The trees of the Lord are well cared for, the cedars of Lebanon that he planted." And I just wanted to show you the 3 trees I'd planted and then talk about what the Lord's planted in my garden. So let's go over to the first one. And this tree is a dawn redwood. And when I first planted it, it was actually, the tip of it came up to about my nose, and that was in the year 2000. But as you can see, it is now considerably taller than my nose, and it goes up, and it goes up, and it goes up, and it goes up, and it goes right up to reach into the blue sky that we're having today, which is really cool. Let me show you the second tree that I've planted. This one is a Wollemi pine, and I put this in a couple of years ago, and the Wollemi pine was discovered in Australia in 1994 in the Blue Mountains, and this is what it's like. As you can see, it's quite a small tree at the moment, but it's going to grow, and it's not going to be quite as tall as a dawn redwood, but it's going to make a pretty good effort at growing upwards. And the lighter green is this year's growth. It came through the winter and the very heavy snowfall that we had very successfully. But that's not the end of it. There's one more tree I want to show you that I planted, and that's around the other side of that flower bed, which is the central flower bed of the garden. And as we look at it, there is something that actually links the 3 trees together. And here's the third one. And the third one is, yes, it's a ginkgo tree. It's very young and therefore very small. And I planted that last year. And the ginkgo, along with the Wollemi, and along with the dawn redwood, which is over there against the background of neighbouring trees. These are all termed fossil trees. In other words, they've been identified through leaves in the fossil record. And I just find that fascinating. I just find it really, really interesting. And that's one of the reasons why I planted them. And I planted the dawn redwood as a millennium tree in the year 2000 to commemorate the turn of the century. And then, of course, the other 2 are just following up on the interest of fossil trees. But what's the Lord planted in my garden? Well, let me show you. If you ask me, then I'd have to say, well, I hadn't anything to do with this, and nor did the previous occupant of the house. Let me show you something first of all, which I always like, and that's our rather large holly tree. Now, I know that it wasn't planted by man because it was planted right next to a giant redwood, which was planted in 1896. Now this is a holly tree, and that too grows up nice and tall, and as you can see, it has one past the bird feeder, that's 4, 5, 6 trunks. 6 trunks, and that grew up in what was the root system of the giant redwood. The giant redwood still exists, but not from its main trunk. There you can just see it's cut off, but it exists with a side spur that you might just see going out of the side and poking up there into the sky and matching my dawn redwood for height, and that'll carry on growing to 90 to 100 feet. Well, never planted the holly tree. Let's see what else I didn't plant. Over here on this corner of the garden, there are those silver birches. They're in my garden, they're very tall, and I didn't plant them, and nor did the previous occupant. They are a planting of the Lord. And finally, let's see if we can find one, because they tend to be all around a bit in various places. But we might find one just along here. Here again, we might not. Oh, here's one. A yew tree. I didn't plant that yew tree, nor did a previous occupant of the house. That's a planting of the Lord. And really, that's what I wanted to say, is that if you ask God why he planted these trees, you know, you could say, okay, we understand the mechanism of how, and we understand how seeds make trees or make roots, you know, which sprout. But he would say it's because I give life to the earth. Now, whatever situation we're facing in life, where we need life, where we need a result, where we need action, whether it's healing that we need, or whether it's an improvement with personal relationships in the family or at work, whatever it is, whether we need to have a breakthrough in our own personal ministry, it's the Lord who gives life. And as you look around my garden, I'm going to be showing you things now here. All of this that you see has got nothing to do with me. It is all the planting of the Lord. And if he can fill a garden full of these wonderful trees and the dense foliage, doesn't it make you realize that the little thing of our own lives, he can put life into that. God bless you. Have a wonderful weekend. I trust the sky remains blue. And, oh, by the way, the sycamore is his as well up there. That's another one of his, along with the holly in front of it. You see, he's just never ending because he works far harder than I do. Bless you. Have a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to being with you next week.
Us down, but his love